Faiz, we can start.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you to another session of our industry-oriented training on Python programming for AI and data analytics. In our previous session, we explored the concepts of probability, distributions, correlation, and hypothesis training, building a strong statistical foundation for data analysis. Today, we bring these concepts together in a practical statistical analysis session, where we apply statistical techniques using Python to analyze and interpret real-world data. Today's lecture will focus on statistical interpretation using Python. Through practical examples, we learn how to summarize data, interpret statistical measures, identify meaningful patterns, and draw reliable conclusions from data sets. These skills are essential for transforming raw data into actionable insights and form the basics of evidence-based decision making in data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and research. This hands-on session is designed to strengthen both your programming and analytical skills by demonstrating how Python can be used to perform statistical analysis efficiently and accurately. By applying these concepts you've learned so far, you'll gain greater confidence in working with real data sets and interpreting their results. I encourage everyone to actively participate, code along with the demonstration, and make the most of today's practical exercises. Hands-on exercises is the key to mastering statistical analysis and developing the skills required for real-world data-driven problem solving. It is now my pleasure to welcome our esteemed mentor and speaker, Dr. Meher Chand, Associate Professor at Baba Farid College of Engineering and Technology, Bathinda. Through his expertise in artificial intelligence, machine learning, computational sciences, and data analytics, he continues to inspire learners with practical knowledge and an industry-oriented approach to solving real-world challenges. With great pleasure, I invite Dr. Meher Chand to kindly lead us into today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, dear Faiz, for the nice introduction, and dear participants, welcome back to our ongoing industrial training program. And most of many things we have covered during the past more than 1 month. Okay, I think this is 35th lecture of this our workshop. And yesterday we discussed about some type of hypothesis test. Reporting about the test or the which we have applied for the practical statistical analysis using Python is not a big thing. Only the findings which we get by applying different type of the test according to our requirement on our data set, which are essential. Then how we can interpret, okay, how we can present all these things in your paper. Okay, so actually the problem is we need a deep understanding about the test which we are applying. Okay. Secondly, why we are applying, and after getting the information, after getting the findings, then how we can interpret them. This is always very crucial part. Okay, and many times we fail to interpret exactly we need. So I would like to start some of the test. Okay, 2 or 3 tests. I think there was due to discuss as I told you yesterday, and I prepared 2 PDF files so that you can go through about some more details about all this content which we are presenting, so that this will help you for the better understanding. So as much you have the deep understanding about the concept and their applications, specifically their properties are very, very important. Along with the in the very first time, sometimes we have the challenge about the interpretation. Okay, but for that today or in the modern era, we can also take some help from generative AI tools. So I think everyone you are using all these tools. Okay. But you have to use these very smartly. Just 1 minute. Okay. So I was talking about, yeah. So while when we will work on uh, machine learning models, okay, there will be various type of the several tests we have to apply. And after that, we are required to understand what we are getting the information. And in the very beginning, just we all are a beginner, okay. Uh, in the beginning, when we will apply the test specifically about our model, okay, we are getting the information partially we can easily understand, partially we are not able to interpret in very deeply. Okay, so for that, generative AI tools can help for deep interpretation, and from that we can get some more ideas, and we can use that interpretation according to our own language. But keep in mind, don't copy and paste if you are working for a research purpose. Okay, we can integrate generative AI tool for learning purpose, for helping purpose, but don't use it as copy and paste. So this will generate plagiarism. Okay, so the information which you are getting from by using the generative AI tools, understand what they interpret. Okay, and you have the some information because some partially we easily understand, but partially something are there which we need to associate. We have some gap. So this gap we can cover with the help of these tools. Okay, so this is the very essential part. So I am going to share my screen. Yes, I think my screen is visible to you. And here I have these two files which are in PDF. Okay, I can open here. So I make a little bit more easy by giving some numerical examples. Okay, so all the concept about the hypothesis testing, which we have discussed here, and the conditions with some examples are also there. Okay, how you can, what is the meaning if H1 not equal to 50,000? Okay, so either it will be greater than or less than, and the steps which we have involved. And one more thing, applications and properties. But here, see this example. This example will help you for the better understanding. Okay, if you will see the example, a teacher claims a student to score an average of 70 marks. Okay, sample size we have 40, and sample mean is 74, and alpha is 0.05. Okay, so null hypothesis we have mu is equal to 70. Okay, which we assume, okay, which we claim 70%. And H1 is alternate, which is mu not equal to 70. Okay, because of this one. So we will apply here test, and suppose that by basis on this information, if p value is less than 0, p value is 0.03, okay, and which is less than 0.05, means reject S0. Okay, so the average marks are significantly different from 70. Okay, it means this is not to the correct assumption. We have this is true. Okay, so according to that, this is the very simple example where you can easily understand why how you can have the assumptions and their alternative. Okay, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. How you can apply, and for this value, as you know, we are either you have to complete calculation by using numerically, but here I told you that we are using Python. Okay, so with the help of the tools which are existing, we always need the value of p value. And on the basis of only p value, we can easily decide according to whether it is greater than 0.05 or less than 0.05. Okay, so according to that, we will accept or fail to reject. Okay, so there are some more examples are here. You can easily go through, and this will clear your concept about the hypothesis and their application. Simple examples are there. So actually, this understanding is very, very important. And after that, we have the test, some of them, just like a t-test we have discussed yesterday, and ANOVA and other tests. Okay. So here I introduce the examples by using Python. The examples are available in my download directory. Just one minute. If I will open here, okay, one is this one and ANOVA test. We did not apply by using Jupyter. Okay, so here we need to discuss these two tests, chi-square and ANOVA both. These are in my download, ANOVA and chi-square. Types of, okay. So how I can do? Yes, I have to go here. Then I will open. Here I can find all these are in my download directory. Sorry, ANOVA. ANOVA will be on the top. Yes, this one. Okay, this is the ANOVA. Yes, and one is type. So type of file will be available. I can unclick and T type of choice file. Okay, this one. Okay, so here their respective examples are here. Okay, and when you will apply all the tests which are required for hypothesis testing. Okay, and we have to always keep in mind the value of p, because on the basis of p value only we can decide whether accept or reject. Okay, as we discussed yesterday also in a few tests, and the same we have with the other test. So this is the chi-square test, goodness of the fitness. Okay, and yes. So this is the same way as we are required to import the module for chi-square from SciPy stats. Okay, so all type of the operations or the test which we are using lies inside this module SciPy.stats, and from that we will import all type of the test according to our need. Here we have two groups, observed and expected. Okay, these are two groups, and how you can apply this is the way chi-square and p. Always when you will apply any test, we have two output values. Okay, and this is the way, this is the function which we are using, and just you are required to call the values which are given in our data set. Okay, observed and expected. So we have two data set. When you will execute this statement, and this will print what? The value of the square static as well as the p-value. And also we have applied the condition as we do yesterday. If p is less than 0.05, reject S0, else fail to reject. Okay, so we can execute all the shell. Yes, so here you can see the chi-square static value is 5.0, but this is not enough for us. But p-value you can see 0.1711797 and so on. And this value is greater than 0.05. So fail to reject. Okay. So can you please let me know what is the meaning of fail to reject? H0. Anyone please? Anyone, can you please? Accept the null hypothesis. Okay. So then you can have the other chi-square test of independent, because there was three categories as we discussed yesterday, but here the examples how you can apply. So this is the test which you can apply for independence. Okay. So test whether two categories variables are associated. So this is the test for the same which you can apply. Okay, so here we have some data frame. So by using the data frame, we can generate some data set. Okay, male and female, there are two categories. And here, the data which we store here in the table, we are using chi-square. But here you can see chi2, p, DOF, and expected. Three values are there. Okay, so this will be very typical, some little bit typical to interpret. Okay, so I let you know how you can take help from by using generative AI tool. Okay, so these values will return here, contingency table. Then we have the chi-square value, degrees of freedom, along with we have the p-value, and here are the expected from data frame. Okay, so this value will also return here, and then this will decide. Okay, so when you will execute, you can see this is the table. So what do we get? This is the contingency table. So here male and female, emergency, urgent, elective. Okay, so this is from the contingency table which we give the command, from that we get. Then we have the values which are which you can see chi-square static. Then we have the degree of freedom is 2 and the p value is 0. This you can see, and these are the some expected frequencies. Okay, so for male and female, for emergency we have this one, for urgent you can see, and for elective. So these are the expected frequencies, and the decision is fail to reject. So in the table form we get all this information. Okay, but how this information which you get by using this test, you need to require to prepare report. Okay, so this is the decision. We can come to the conclusion is we have to reject S0 means accept, fail to reject. Okay, so it means the null hypothesis is accepted. Okay, so now we are required to prepare its report. How you can interpret all this information. So what you will do, just copy all this information. Copy all this information, and then we can come to, and this is the new window. So this will take less time for interpretation, and you all of you can do easily. Okay, so interpret the information. Yeah, outcomes given below. Just you will give the prompt and then pass the information which we have get by applying the test. So this will nicely explain everything. Okay. So all the parts are nicely explained here. And then you can see this is the reporting the result. Okay. And if you want to expand some more, so all the information which we get are there here, and we can easily read out to this information which we get by using the generative AI tool, ChatGPT. Okay. So also again, you can say write complete report. So this will write the complete report of the test. Okay, with interpretation. You can see this is the interpretation. Okay, but the thing is, when you are getting all this information about your findings, you have some words, some you get the information, we can easily understand what are the meaning of p-value, what are the meaning of other parameters which we get. But for the writing, we need some interpretation. Okay, so that anyone who will read about the findings can easily understand about. So in this way, you can get some more information about the interpretation. But the thing is, don't use this interpretation just by copying and paste. Understand what the generative AI interpret, then write in your own language. Okay. So in this way, we can integrate the generative AI tools as a helping tool. Don't completely depend upon generative AI tools. Okay, we can use ChatGPT, we can use Gemini, we can use Cloud. Okay, and some more are there. So if you are using anyone, take the help from this tool. Otherwise, if you will use copy and paste, there will be plagiarism. Okay, I can close this part. Yes. Now, any doubt? Right to this one, because we have the values, we can get the degree of freedom, and we know what is the meaning of degree of freedom. We also know the what is the meaning of p-value. Okay, we can get the information about this, and sometimes if you need to insert this information in your paper writing, we can add this information also. Okay, in a table form, you can use all these findings which you can get here, and then you can interpret in your own language. Okay, so these results are essential. Okay, because these are the actual findings for your work. Okay, which you are doing by using your own data set. Okay, so these are the findings based on your actual data set. But Python will make easy everything for you. Okay, and if there is a problem of the interpretation, we have the generative AI tools. Okay, copy and use them. So in this way, you can, this task will make easy by using all these things. Secondly, third and last one, chi-square test for homogeneity. Okay, so compare whether multiple population have the same category distribution or not. Okay, just like you can see, example is blood distribution across 3 hospitals. So here we have the example. Okay, the function we have is chi-square contingency. Okay, so these are 3 hospitals, A, B, C. And index we are using here A, B, AB, and O. Okay, these are the index for according to group. Okay, which we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 values are there according to these groups which you can see here. Okay, so if you will print the data frame, you can create print the data frame and we can observe. I am using here print table and then execute this shell. Okay, yes. So here you can see there are 3 hospitals. Okay, and here we have the values. Okay, I think we have looked the statement 2 times. Okay, here we have already given. I have already given the statement. Yes, now it's fine. Okay, so these are 3 hospitals. These are the group. So this is the data set which we are given. You can find here chi-square static value, degree of freedom, p-value, and p-value is greater than 0.05. So fail to reject. And rest part we have the interpretation. Okay, so here we have the compare of the chi-square test which are different and from test name, then purpose and the example. And what are the assumptions we are required and the decision rule are there. Okay, so this is all about the chi-square test. Okay, so now if you have, dear participant, any question related to this content, please feel free to ask. Anyone, please. Any question? Okay. So then also there is one more file which was pending yesterday, ANOVA. Okay, so about ANOVA we have discussed yesterday, but here we have the only example how we can apply. Okay, one way ANOVA. Okay, here is only I think one way ANOVA test. I think this is another file. No problem. So in the similar way, you can apply the ANOVA test. So can you please let me know when we can apply ANOVA test? Yesterday we discussed about ANOVA test. Okay, but this file was missing yesterday. Anyone, please? So ANOVA test we apply when, okay, when my question is when we can apply.
Sir,
When
significant
when
sir,
we have 3 groups or more than 3. Okay, when we have 3 or more than 3 groups, then we have to apply ANOVA test. Okay, so here we are using, these are the libraries which are required for ANOVA test. You can see pandas and this is essential for us. Okay, we have already used this library. Okay, then we have one more library. You can see here OLS. Okay, these are for taken from stats model. Okay, stats model.api SSM. Yes, thanks, ma'am. Chidera, yeah, 3 or more than 3 groups. So here, all these libraries are essential here to apply ANOVA test. So here, what we are doing, we are creating the 3 groups are there. Group method A, B, and C. These are 3 groups. Okay. So create the data frame. So here we have the data frame combining these 3. This is the way score method A plus method B plus method C. These are 3 different methods and applying these three different methods, we have these are the scores. Okay, so here we have the method which we have taken here. Okay, some scores are assigned here, some, and when you will print all these values. Okay, in each we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values are there. Okay, so 5 times will be there. These are the grades which assigned to them. Okay, values which you can see A, B, and C. So that we have some method A, method B, and method C to all the values which are here inside address space. Okay, so their index or the method we have to mention here. So don't worry about this. These are the method which we assign here, so that with respect to the score, we can have methods which you can see along with the score. Okay, so by using this index, we can create the data frame. So you can see all the methods from three group we have in the single table now. DF is the data frame we have created at this place. Now this is the way how you can apply by using Python. Quite easy. Okay. So here now we can visualize data. Okay. So here you can see this the figure, and data is DF X method Y score, and when you will execute, we have this is the data frame. Okay, so this will help us for different methods. This is the A method, this is the B method, this is the C method, and from this place you can easily compare their score. Okay, and you can see the B method has the highest rate of the scores. Okay, we can easily understand. Okay, and C has very less, and A lies between these two. Okay, so when we have the data set, by seeing only this information, we are not able to understand, but to visualize, by visualizing, we have a lot of information. And by seeing this image, we can easily understand about all these three groups and the methods. Okay, so now here, interpret, further interpret, we apply here uh, ANOVA test. Okay, so here alpha is equal to 0.05 p value, and when you will apply, okay, so the values you can see here, yeah, just one minute, you can see here. Okay, so we are applying here one way. We are applying here one way. The method A, method B, method C, and with respect to we have F static and P value. F static based on F test. Okay, so the value is 70, but the P value is 2 point something. Okay, so when we will interpret, so these are the conditions similar way as we do in the previous. So from this place we can see reject the null hypothesis. Okay, there is a significant difference among the teaching method. Okay, so you can interpret this information, and ANOVA table. This is the ANOVA table. ANOVA table using stats model. So this is the another way. So method we have the sum square DF F. So for if you want to apply with the help of the tables, okay. So table exists, uh, and someone, if you have applied the ANOVA test by using the table, you will be familiar. Okay, but here we are not required. You can easily check this one because this is the method. The sum square is given, DF is given, F is value is given, PR value which is greater than F, and the residuals you can see. So if you are required to interpretation this information, okay, but right now by using the ANOVA, very less I use in my findings. First time I am using, I present this ANOVA test. Okay, so you can also take the help from generative AI tool for the interpretation. Okay, so here is also the another test, Tukey HSD post HOC test. Okay, we have the method how you can apply. This is the method name. Okay, and but the thing is we have some information here, p adjustment, lower, upper, reject. So all the information are there by using this test. Okay, this test also introduce this one, these two tests recently introduced in this file. Okay, so for the interpretation, I request you please, you can take help from the generative AI tool. Uh, right now, I'm not also not familiar about this test. Okay, I don't read more information about these two tests. Okay, so I think you understand. You can easily cover this part yourself. So these are some assumptions which you are required to keep in mind and when you will apply. Okay, so this is the example how you can apply the ANOVA test. So this is one way ANOVA test, and there are two categories are there. So mainly we are using this one way ANOVA or two way ANOVA. Okay, these are some latest findings are there. Very less I saw the use of these two. Okay, but if anywhere you need these two formulas in your research findings, so you have the syntax which you can use for your purpose. Okay, so mainly we are using only ANOVA. Okay. Any question, please? So overall, if I conclude, we are required to understand the p-value. Only p-value in all type of the test. There are some more tests which we can use for hypothesis testing. Okay, but the most useful test which we discuss right now are familiar. And other tests, if you need, I can provide you. But these are enough for any kind of the findings. Okay. So if you have any question related to this example, you can ask from me. So far, this lecture which we are discussing for the practical statistical analysis using Python. Okay, so here is nothing new. Everything which we have discussed in the past sessions. Okay, so the main objective is you have some your own data set. Okay, and you are required to analyze what you want to find. Okay, so you can apply some type of the statistical uh, hypothesis test, which we have discussed in the past, and one of them, which is essential or which you can implement to get your findings, you can use them. Okay, so here you will see we are these all input libraries are same. Okay, and here we are using Irish data from cloud. You can use your own data set. Okay, so when you will go through all this entire file, so everything you are familiar. Okay, how you can download, how you can visualize, then data set information. Okay, all these functions we have used because when you will apply any statistical method or you want a statistical analysis for that, data cleaning and pre-processing is very, very essential. And all these parts we have discussed and we have covered. And the same is revision here. Okay, so missing values, you will check descriptive static. We have discussed histogram is also there. Box plot is also there. Okay, then correlation. Then you can apply the different test, which this depend upon your data set. Okay, and data type, because when you will apply any hypothesis test, your data set and data type, data category, size of the data set, all these parameters will help you to decide which method is applicable. Okay, for that, before applying all the basic concept and deep understanding about all the tests, because the uh, cheat sheets which I share with you, and yesterday also we discussed all the information about all these tests. Okay, and conditions are given there, then their properties also defined there. So understand the properties and their conditions when which particular test will be applicable. So these understanding very, very important. After that, you can apply test. Okay. So here, various tests are applied here as we discussed in the previous. Yeah, this is the linear regression. We did not discuss about the linear regression. This is the first time and introduced here in this file. Okay. So, can you please let me know what is the meaning of linear regression? We talk about the correlation, but what is the meaning of regression, linear regression? Anyone, please? Anyone? Why we need linear regression? What are the purpose? Why we need to create model? What are the purpose? Yeah, prediction. This is the right answer. Okay, for prediction. So we will fit the curve. Okay, see here, very simple. So we are taking here two variable. One is x and from the other is y. Okay, so x and y, these are two variables from our data set. Okay, and we have enriched data we have used earlier also. Okay, so this is the model for fit the curve. Okay, for linear regression. So here you can see sm dot ols yx dot fit. This is the command. By using this, we can create the model and we can get the summary of the model. Okay, so this is the all summary about this model when you will apply. Okay, dear participant, my next session is about to start. Okay, I can finish within 5 minutes. Okay. Yes, now you can see. So this is the about all summary. So model, method, list square, date, time, observation 150, residuals, model, okay, R squared 0.760. More detail about this in the coming. Okay, so F stat is there, etc. Likelihood, AIC, BIC. Okay, and we have this the coefficient. When you fit the curve, we have the coefficient. Okay, see this graph. And this is the data set which you can see, and this is the curve fit. And on the basis of this curve, we need to establish this curve. We need two values. One is coefficient of x, and other is constant. Okay, constant which will intercept the y curve, and coefficient will be the slope of the line. We can fit the curve, and by using this curve, we can predict the future value. Okay, so for this one, we have all the interpretation is given here, and for more detailed interpretation, just you are required to copy all this information and take help from the generative AI tool. Okay, so everything, this is the some like shape wiki normality. Okay, p test and Kyaku plot is also there. This is also very useful. Okay, for the same. And this is the confidence interval if you are required to find. And then we have the statistical summary. Okay, so all these you must go through. If there will be any question, we can discuss tomorrow. And sorry again for today. My next session at 9 a.m. is going to start, and I have only 3 minutes. So frequently, if you have any question, you can ask from me so that I will try to justify your question. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will share all the content which I cover here right now, and you must go through the details. And one last statement: the understanding of the concept is very, very important. The computing will give you the results, but interpretation you will do. Okay, but we can take help from the generative AI tools also, but use these tools if it is required ethically. Okay, so that sometimes if we are not able to understand the concept, we can take help. I also taking some help sometimes when I have any doubt or don't clarity about the new concept. Okay, so we can integrate to reduce our time and maximum outputs in the minimum time. So, dear participant, thank you for the today's session, and tomorrow we will start the session at 7:30. Okay, so dear face, you can conclude the session now.
Yes, sir. As we conclude today's practical session, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Meher Chand for his valuable guidance and insightful demonstration on practical statistical analysis using Python. Today's session gave us hands-on experience in applying statistical concepts through Python. We explored how to interpret data using statistical techniques, analyze patterns, and draw meaningful conclusions from real-world data sets. By combining programming with statistical reasoning, we strengthen the practical skills that are essential for data analytics. I encourage everyone to revisit today's exercises and continue practicing statistical analysis using different data sets. The more you apply these techniques, the more confident you will become in making data-driven decisions and solving real-world analytical problems. I'd also like to thank all participants for your active participation, thoughtful questions, and continued enthusiasm throughout today's session. Your dedication and eagerness to learn continue to make this training program both engaging and rewarding. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a wonderful night, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session.
Thank you, dear participant, and all the content you can find in your WhatsApp group. Good night, everyone.